Hey everybody, Isaiah Colton with another episode of Sales and Marketing Secrets. This is our weekly podcast. I'm with Scott and Bobby. And today we're going to be talking about how to take control over your lead generation to grow your database. And one of the ways to do that is to make sure that you have effective landing pages that you're driving traffic to. One of the most powerful ways you can grow your database is lead generation through Google PPC and also Facebook, along with YouTube ads. But the problem is if you're driving that traffic to a landing page that sucks, you're not going to get the best ROI. And so there is an art and science to a landing page. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. There's best practices to build a landing page, and there's ways that you can royally screw yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through 8 ways to make sure that your real estate landing page stands out and converts at the highest level. Now, if you're listening to this podcast or whether you're watching it, either one, I'm going to give you a humble brag right now. Okay. So I myself and our team, we have extensive experience when it comes to what we call sales funnels. Okay. A landing page is essentially a form of a sales funnel. And we've done this over the course of many, many years. And whether it has been generating seller leads or whether it has been generating leads through agent attraction, we have absolutely mastered the art and science of the landing page. Okay. Myself and our team, we've been recognized as a top 10% online marketer by one of the biggest communities called ClickFunnels. And we've received multiple, what we call 2 Comma Club awards, where you've driven people to a landing page, and out of that process, you've generated $1 million or more from that landing page. $1 million or more. Okay. So we know what we're doing. We know what we're talking about. I just want to give you a little bit of the background so you understand where this is coming from. Literally, we've built hundreds of landing pages, and A/B tested them and understanding what's working, what's not working. I'm personally fortunate to be coached by arguably the top 10% of marketers ever when it comes to digital marketing. And so that's a little bit of background on where this comes from. So I want you to get excited about this podcast, because for those of you that are looking to take control over your own lead generation to build a database, and you want to move away from depending on third parties as much like Zillow or Realtor.com, or at least make this part of your mix, this is a huge part of it. Okay. So first and foremost, let's dive into it. The difference between a website and a landing page. Okay. A website, the best way to think about a website is that's kind of like an online billboard, or it's kind of like a hub, if you will. It's a central hub where people can just go and learn about you, and you have kind of everything in one place dealing with your company, and people can learn more about you and they can kind of click around. The difference between a website and a landing page is a landing page has a very specific pathway with one goal: to convert a lead, somebody who's out there, and turn it into a lead. That's the goal of a landing page. One goal. And there's a lot of psychology behind this, but what's critical to understand is that the attention span of human beings have dropped dramatically, and you literally have seconds to get their attention and to get them to go down the pathway that you want them to go down to. And with an incredibly short attention span, you're lucky to keep them on your page for 8 seconds. How long is 8 seconds? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they're gone. They're gone. If there wasn't something on that page that captured their attention, they're gone. So I'd submit to you that if you're driving traffic to your website for lead generation, your conversion is going to suffer. And I'm not saying you can't get conversion, but it's going to suffer. And so learning the art and science of developing a good landing page is so important. All right. So let's break this down.
Isaiah, can I ask? Because I feel like I've gotten this question a lot. So I shouldn't be trying to build credibility and educate them on my landing page? Like I shouldn't have all the details about all the things that I do and the services I provide and video testimonials and all that?
If you want to have them bounce and leave and go somewhere else, then yeah, do that. If you want to have them follow a specific pathway, which we're going to go over and generate a lead, then do what we're about to say. But yeah, if there's too much going on the page and there's not a specific objective, which we're going to dive into what that looks like. Yeah, to your,
they're going to bounce.
They're going to bounce. They're going to leave, so I'm glad you brought that up. And
yeah,
it's a natural thing. It's a natural thing, right? Like, oh, well, I just want to show them everything because
correct.
This is what I do and they need to know everything. No, they don't. Like, they don't care at that point. They don't care. They don't care about your accolades. They don't care about your background. They don't care about any of that right now because you have not spoke to their pain and motivation. It's the same psychology, by the way, of what you're doing on a landing page is the same psychology of what you do on a prospecting call. You hook them, which we're going to get into. You're going to hook them. Then you're going to give them a little bit more. It's called a sub hook or sub headline, right? And then you're going to go into a description of how you can help them solve the problem that you hooked them with. And then you're going to ask them to take an action step. It's the same psychology on a good prospecting script. So with that, let's dive into some guidelines that we encourage our clients to follow here at Real Estate Nexus and Run 360. So the first thing is the headline. Okay. This is where most people get it all wrong. They'll spend all the time typing up this content on the page and all these different things, but their headline sucks. So if your headline's not bold, it doesn't get attention, and it doesn't speak to a pain point. And I want you to write that down. It doesn't speak to a pain point, not a motivation, but a pain point. Your headline's not going to be good enough.
No free CMAs.
What's that? You're chopping up really bad.
Free CMAs.
Yeah, free CMAs. Yeah, that's right. Right. So that's probably not going to be the best headline, right?
So can I ask Isaiah? So let's say I'm targeting geodata or past clients. Should I be using like the same type of headline for all of those, or like just because it's catchy? Or
well, yeah. I mean, here's the deal. Like, let's say you're trying to do a home value landing page. Mm-hmm. You could do this two different ways. You could say 17 strategies to get more value from your home. Not bad. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I'd submit to you a better way to say it is 17 strategies to prevent yourself from losing money on the sale of your home.
So I'm glad you said that, because I think it's important for people to understand the fear of loss is much more powerful than the thought of gain.
Right. That's the pain. The pain is how do I sell my home to get the most value, right? And I can say that in two different ways. I can say it in a positive way, or I can say it to create what you're talking about, fear of loss, and that's going to get somebody's attention.
Yeah, if I say, hey, Isaiah, you can get this, or I'm going to take this away.
Yep. Which
one's right? You losing something is going to grab your attention more than me giving you something.
That's right. That's right. And that's why some of the really good headlines, they throw in the combination of both, where you have the gain and without experiencing the pain. So those are some of the best headlines that when you sandwich those two together. So then that's your headline, and your sub headline needs to speak to whatever you're just talking about. So for example, your sub headline should say something like this: learn the most powerful strategies to get the most value of your home from your home without going through the headache of having to try to figure out how to market, sell, and prepare your home on your own. Something along those lines. So like you got your headline, and then your sub headline just expands on the headline. And so now, great, you got their attention. Now they're learning a little bit more. And now you get into the description of your sales copy. All right. And this is what's important in the sales copy, is to find the balance between persuasion, action, and direction. Persuasion, action, and direction. So you don't want to come off too strong to your audience, but at the same time, you have to make sure you're persuading them, but also making sure that they're going to commit to your CTA, your call to action. So it's a fine balance.
Can you say that for our listeners one more time, brother? I think it's so important that you even persuasion, action, and then go ahead. Persuasion, action, and direction. Direction.
Yep. So persuasion is your copy has to be persuasive. The sales copy, what your content has to be persuasive. It has to provoke action, but also the psychology of the page has to get them to it has to lead them to a specific direction to click and to submit their information. So that's really the art and science of it. And so one of the things I think is kind of a little bit of a pro tip is download Grammarly, because Grammarly will give you suggestions on how to rewrite things to make them come across a little bit more clear and strong in your description within the landing page. Another thing too is there's actually a really powerful AI bot that will help you write your content for you, the description of a landing page for you. It's called Jarvis. Okay, so jarvis.io, and I believe a company might have just bought them out, so it's going to probably redirect you to somewhere else. But you can actually go in there and put in a summary of your content. It'll actually give you suggestions back on what your descriptions and what your sub headlines and headlines should be. It's a really great tool. So then in your description, around your description, you're going to have call to actions. And so here's what's important is you want to make sure that you have your call to action on your page at least 3 times on the page. So, and then this is where probably most people, where it goes wrong. All right. So a couple things. Testimonials. In 2017, 73% of consumers that were surveyed said that because of the positive reviews they saw on the landing page was the reason why they moved and took action. So I don't know what it is about this number, but it's true that you need at least 10 testimonials on all of your marketing materials. There's something about when you only have 2 or 3, people say, oh, anybody could throw up 2 or 3 subconsciously. And once they start seeing testimonial after testimonial after testimonial, what happens is it builds so much evidence. And by the way, this is towards the bottom of the page, but it builds so much evidence that they just automatically say, wow, they have all these people, so maybe I don't need to do any further research. I'm just going to submit my information. Yeah, so it looked like you had something to say, Scott, or you had a comment.
Yeah, I was going to say, so to sum it up, right, we hook them, right? Yeah. Then we got our subheader, we got some powerful content, and guess what? By the time, like you just said, they're at the bottom of the page, you have enough good quality testimonials there. 80% of those people are going to now do what he said and follow the direction.
Yeah, and that's the call. That's the call to action.
Yep. Fill out
that
this.
comes in right after. And here's another pro tip. Never say click here. Say fill this out for your free evaluation. So your button or whatever your button is needs to say what it is, not click here, right? So that's another pro tip. So
So would you say like free home evaluation rather than click here for free home evaluation, or just as an example?
Correct. You want to add on to whatever they're going to get. And that comes back to your buttons. Your buttons, you want to make sure stand out and are a completely different color. So using colors like yellow, red are really popular. But Isaiah, it doesn't match the colors of my page. It looks weird. Exactly. You want it to stand out. The buttons have to stand out. They can't mesh with the rest of the landing page. So red is a very popular color because it's a power color and it stands out. So I'd recommend using red or a color that's completely opposite of the normal flow of your landing page. So
yeah, I was going to say orange, a lot
orange
like
really
a brighter orange too. Definitely.
That's a really good, that's a really good color. So also too, a couple other pro tips is images and videos are really powerful. So 58% of consumers won't watch a business video past 60 seconds. So if you're doing a video on your page at all, make sure it's 60 seconds or shorter. Really important. And believe it or not, on a landing page, sometimes an image can be more powerful than a video. So we've seen landing pages actually perform better that had a really strong image than a video. Now, if you're selling something, which you guys are not, most realtors, you're not actually selling something on this landing page, you might want to you're going to do like a longer video, but you're not doing that in this case. You're just trying to pique their interest enough to give them your information and then follow up with them. So, I think the other thing is that the main point of this is to get their attention. So anything that you are doing on the landing page that's important, you have to make sure is above the fold so they don't have to scroll. We've done heat maps on all of our landing pages, and 57% of all of the people that hit our landing pages never scroll down. They don't scroll down. We've actually done heat maps. And so that was my final suggestion, is that you hook your landing pages up to a heat map of there's a service called Hotjar with Ren 360, depending on what level of service, and it's an add-on service. We have a service called PageSense that you can hook your landing pages up, and that's what we use. And if you want help with any of this, what's really powerful is that Ren 360 has a base level of service to help you with your multi-channel marketing, where literally within 5 minutes or less, you can market your listings and start generating leads. And then as an upgrade service, you can actually participate in our website product, which has landing pages already built in with the psychology that I'm going over with you. So if you're listening to this, you can try Ren 360 on a free trial, and you can experience all the powerful things we can do to help you market your listings through multiple channels within like literally 5 minutes or less. Like Scott's done a live demo, like literally boom, like click easy promote. It's generating all of your marketing materials, and then you're sending out marketing your listings. And then if you want to generate leads, like through Google PPC, you're going to need a really good landing page. And we can, it is an upgrade, but we can actually help provide the tools to build the landing pages just like I'm talking to you about. So go ahead, Scott. Say something.
No, I was going to actually ask a question that I think I get a lot talking to agents. Well, what if I just want to retarget my database? Why wouldn't I want to drive them to my website, Isaiah? Why would I? They're already a lead. Why would I want them to? Why wouldn't I just want them to go to my website? Yeah, I get that really asked us all the time. So,
Yeah, that's really good. So depends on your objective of the campaign, right? So, but here's the key. Here's the key to that. Depending on how old your database is, you don't know what's going on, what's happening with them. So we do campaigns all the time where we get people to opt back into our landing pages that are already in our database, because we're bringing them back to the forefront of our prospecting and sales funnels, right? So like if you're trying to, so if you have a whole bunch of people that are potential home sellers in your database, or if you're doing geographical farming or for sale by owners, and you're using a remarketing approach, right? Who cares if they're already in your database? Have them opt in. You know that's a hot lead. It's almost like a new lead.
Yes. Awesome.
It's almost like a new lead. So I think I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, brother. I just think it's very, very, very important. Guys, even if it's a past client or sphere, you want them to get opt in, because they're identifying themselves saying, hey, I'd like to talk to you, right? Yes, I am interested, right? Whatever the call to action may be. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure, because I hear a lot. Well, I just drive them to my website when they're talking about their own leads or past clients, right? Or sphere. And, that's a mistake that I've seen a lot. So,
yeah, that's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up. So
And
we're going to end upon, yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Sorry. I was going to say, Scott, just to add on what you and Isaiah just said, that's 100% true. So everything you went through, Isaiah, I'm just like, oh my God, all of this goes on in the background, but our marketing coach, Matt Grunman, helps us with all of this. So I don't really get to see this background of how much information really goes into it. Our marketing coach tells us what to do, and then we have our marketing director that implements everything. But with the opt-ins, we have over 7,000 leads in our database, and it's very hard for us to stay in front of everybody, right, through the drips and back marketing and whatnot. But when we see one of these go back into our CRM, it's just, remember when we were running those ads, cash home buyer ads and all of those different ads? We've got 4 or 5 listings from people in our database that already knew us, but that just raised their hand. And there's no way we would have, called them if they didn't raise their hand. So it's
they wouldn't have been a priority
really,
to us. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like somebody I talk to, they'll eventually call me. They don't. So I would advise a lot of these agents to just take a day out of your time, go through your database and search it up. Some of those people, you guys will be surprised, who used other realtors, even though they had an amazing experience with you guys, because they forget your name, they forget your number. So it's important to always be in front of them, regardless of where they're looking online. That's what Matt helped us realize, and ever since then, it's been a game changer with all of these ads.
Yeah, remarketing is one of the most powerful tools you can use, and when you have the capability to launch different landing pages, you can get creative too. You can always do something different, put something different in front of them. That's the exciting part. So
I'm so glad you said that, brother. That was the last thing I wanted to say, guys. If you're building out niche campaigns, sometimes you need to look at your landing pages and look at your heading, right? What is the messaging that you're using on there? And based on the niche that you're going after, that's where you could make some tweaks to it, right? To really make sure you're talking to that individual type of potential client.
100% agree. It almost helps you put everybody in your database in their own little buckets. So you could customize drip campaigns for that bucket. So it's more relative to them than just sending them some generic.
yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. So we're going to send you to our landing page. If you enjoyed what you've watched, check out Ren. Check out our free trial. If you're already an existing client, take advantage of the tools. You're listening to this. Take advantage of the resources that Bobby was just talking about. Right, our expertise is incredible over here. But if you're not, go here, click on the 14-day free trial. Okay. You notice it doesn't say click here. It says start your 14-day free trial now. Right. You notice it's a different color. So yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed this podcast. Getting good at building landing pages. I can't say it any other way except that it can be really a life-changing for your business, and your ability to be able to take control and generate your leads and revive leads can be a game changer. So with that, if you've liked this podcast, share it with your sphere. We'd greatly appreciate that. Leave us comments on what you got out of this podcast or what you want us to talk about in the future. And we'll be in touch. Until next week, go out and crush it. And just remember, you're only one idea away from the next breakthrough in your business. And I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks, guys. See you.